everybody. Let me welcome Priyanka Garg, who has kindly agreed to share her journey of cancer healing with us today. A quick intro about her is, so she is a mother of two, a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old kids, and her husband is with her, and she is working with her husband in their own family business. And unfortunately, in this regular life of hers, she had to take a detour with breast cancer. And today, she's with us to share her journey. So welcome, Priyanka ma'am. Thank you for sharing her journey with us today. So anything you would like to add?
Yeah, thank you so much, Anware Wellness, for letting me share my experience, and I hope somebody will at least benefit from my experience, and there will be some kind of awareness. So I would like to share my whole experience of my treatment and how I felt in those days. So I'm ready to share.
Sure. So ma'am, I think we'll just take a step back and we'll start from how this whole journey started for you. Like how was it detected? How suddenly did you come to know that you are battling something like breast cancer?
In June 2018, I just found a lump in my breast. So at first I just ignored it. I noticed it in May itself, May 2018. Then for 1 month I just ignored it. Then I thought, okay, let me go get it checked, because my mother had similar symptoms. Even she was a breast cancer patient. So she had similar symptoms. So I thought, let me go and check. Then it was positive. And then there was a big stoppage in my daily routine. I used to be like very busy all the time with my office work, with my household, with my kids, everything. I used to be like running around all the time with no break. And there was sudden break where I had to stop everything and just concentrate on myself. So that is how it was diagnosed. So by June 12th, if I remember, it was diagnosed, and by June 19th was my first chemo session. So
immediately after diagnosis, you were suggested chemotherapy, is it?
Yeah, I was suggested with 4 rounds of chemotherapy first, with 21 days gap, and then the surgery, and then 12 cycles of chemotherapy again, that is weekly once sessions, and then followed by radiotherapy. So
you had to
like a whole 10 months procedure. So doctor has told me, like, for 10 months you have to just bear with it. After that it'll all be done. So I was very upset. Naturally I was very upset. I was like, my life is over. Nothing, the 10 months or 1 year is going to be really bad, and it's like totally cut from the whole world. I'm totally I can't do anything. But then I was wrong. It was not like that. I was very much I was then counseled by the doctors in HCG, Dr. Brinda,
we know,
onco-psychologist. She counseled me and she explained me that it was like a guilty feeling, like, why me? Why did I get this? So then she counseled me. She was like, no, you have got the least scary thing. Among all the cancers, breast cancer is the least risky cancer. So you have got the least one. So just make peace with it. And the life after 10 months will be normal, but not very much normal as it was before. It will be a new normal. So accept the new normal, and your life will be like how it used to be before. So she gave me a lot of mental support, so that I could come out of at least that guilt. I was having that guilt, that why me, that guilt was there. So she was like, it's okay, and it's okay to even feel bad. But then she gave me a lot of sessions. She gave me 3 to 4 sessions so that I was able to come out of this feeling and take up my treatment positively. And finish it and come out of it as a winner. So that really helped me.
So if you could share, like, what stage was your cancer when you got?
It was stage 2.
Okay. So
Stage 2 it was.
that's
Maybe if I would have
that's still better.
diagnosed it 1 month back, then
Maybe it would have been even better than that. Yeah. Okay.
But the treatment would have been same. That I asked doctor. So he was like, the treatment, there would be no difference in the treatment. The same thing I would have had to go through.
Okay, right. So any specific challenges you faced? Because I think you had 2 cycles of chemo with the gap of surgery. So during this, what were your our side effects, or what was your biggest challenges during the treatment cycle?
The biggest challenge I had to face that was in my mind was losing hair. That I was so not ready to lose my hair. I was so upset with it. Then I just made I bought some wig, and I had hair loss was it had to happen. So it happened. It was very scary. Anyways, I lost my hair, so I started using a wig. So that big person, even she helped me a lot. She just made an exact wig of my whatever previous hair I had. And for a person who didn't know that I have this problem, for them it was like they totally couldn't figure it out that it was a wig. So that way I was really confident. But then again, I didn't have confidence to wear that and go out in public. Then my family, my sisters, my husband, everyone, they helped me to come out of it. And I was able to carry that wig properly. In fact, till the end, people couldn't guess that it was a wig.
No, that's a good thing. I think it helps, because so many people I've spoken to, I think it is a symbol of self-confidence, I feel.
Yeah, and after that, when I got used to my baldness, that time I realized that, in fact, it was very comfortable to be bald. Like it was. No hair hassles, need of comb every day, you can have head bath. Yeah. So it was very comfortable. So that way I was feeling quite calm now with the little bit hair what I've got. I feel like going back to that boy cut. Okay. That's very convenient.
That's nice. That's a very positive way to look at it. But other than that, did you face any other health related side effects that were significant?
Nausea. I had lot of nauseatic problems. Then the weakness was there, body pain, weakness. Then once I lost I couldn't control my heartbeat also. Like heartbeat was raising, so I had to immediately hospitalize. I had to be hospitalized for that. And
so that was during the chemo cycles, was it?
Yeah, all side effects of chemo. So there were the time was not easy. Once if I felt cold, I would feel terribly cold. It's like I'm sitting in some minus temperatures, like I would shiver. And if I would feel hot, I would sweat very badly. So it was all in anything that would happen to me, it used to be in extremes. Like for a normal person, it was normal, bearable. For me, it was any little thing was getting to extremes.
So just help me understand. So is there any correlation between getting the symptoms and the timing of the chemo drug? I think you said it was weekly, right? Once a week you had to.
Yeah, first it was 21 days gap, the first 4 cycles. Then there was surgery. Then there was 1 month gap, and then again there was weekly once.
Oh, weekly once. Maybe a lighter dose perhaps, because typically it's a 21
cycles.
But is there a correlation between when you take the drug and how long you feel the symptoms, or does it continue throughout?
It's like first time you take the chemotherapy, the side effects are not all that bad. The second time it goes on, it's like a cumulative effect.
Okay.
So by the time you reach the end of the treatment, you're totally exhausted, you're totally, all your nutrition and everything, all your good enzymes are gone. So the last part of the treatment
is harder.
Is very hard when compared to the first part.
Okay. So did you go for or adopt any other methods which would help you cope with these symptoms or issues?
No, I didn't. I just went went to my doctor, just the allopathic medicines, whatever they had given me. I didn't do any other medication at all. people advise me to take some Ayurvedic, some homemade medicines and all those things. I didn't take that.
Okay.
I asked my doctor clearly, should I go for it? He said a complete no. He's like, whatever I advise you to take, only you are supposed to take. So I didn't go for any other medication. The only extra thing I did was meditation, pranayama, little bit of yoga, whatever I could do, little bit of walking. And I took a very nutritional, healthy cooked diet, like not the raw ones, raw food.
You took raw food?
No, I didn't take raw food. I took only the cooked food. Cooked and boiled food. I avoided sugary food and fried, all those things. Whatever I could digest very easily and which has good nutritional value, I took only those food and lot of fluids.
Very nice. Okay, good. So that you would say that overall this regimen worked for you and you were able to come out of bear the therapy.
Yeah, I could bear the side effects. It was not easy, but somehow I could just manage with them, with my little precautions what I was taking.
So how bad is the post-surgical rehabilitation process?
Post-surgical was not very bad for me because I was already, I was under yoga. Like from when I got operated, I was under Dr. Deepashri. She, from day one, she taught me simple yoga poses and the breathing techniques. So I was practicing that even during my rest time, and that helped me a lot. So post-surgery, it didn't give me much problem. So chemotherapy gave me lot of problem when compared to the surgery.
Yeah, because
so surgery was like I had a double mastectomy. So it was like upper part of my body was totally disturbed. But only the main issue was with the surgery was I had a little lymphedema, the little swelling in my right arm. So that is there even now, it's not completely gone. So that's the one issue which I had when related to surgery. Otherwise, surgery didn't give me much problem.
So, okay, I mean, why double mastectomy? It was there in both the...
No, it was there in one, but doctor advised me to go for double mastectomy for the future safety. To be on the safer side, doctor advised me, and that was a big decision to be taken. Yeah, until the end, I was not sure what to do. Then I just asked doctor which treatment will give me more life. I need more life for my kids. It's okay, however I look or however I feel doesn't matter to me right now. I need life for my kids. So he was like, this one will be a better option. Like it can give you a few more years. So nothing is guaranteed, but it's just the way his experience, whatever his experience was telling him. I was like, okay, I'll go for it. So,
yeah, I think it's a tough call. I think you have made a brave decision. I think it's always a tough call making such decisions.
I had to convince my children also for that, because later even when they grow big, they should not have any wrong thinking about me. Like, so I had to convince them. It was not difficult. Dr. Brinda, she had told me the way how to explain them and how to get their consent. So it was like a mutual consent. Even my husband was ready for it. He didn't have any issues. Even kids didn't have. So I just went for the safest option.
No, it's a good. I think once you yourself are convinced about the route you want to take, I think the rest becomes easier. I think the decision part is the harder part.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's good. So, anything that you continue to do now, like post your treatment?
No, I was supposed to join my work. As I told, I was working with my husband in Tent House Manufacturing. We have a manufacturing unit in JC Road. So supposed to join, but then due to the lockdown and all, I'm not going. Due to the COVID situation, I'm not going.
Yeah, better.
So otherwise I was supposed to join from this year, but I didn't join, so I'm at home.
Yeah, that's good. At least for some time, I think everybody is at home.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think post your surgery and you went through the second cycle of chemo also, right? Post surgery, and that was better than before, or it was as
No, it was it was bad. As I told you, it was a cumulative effect.
Oh, okay.
So during that second cycle only, I had the heartbeat issue.
Oh, okay.
And the shivering issue and all that. So the second part of it was supposed to be a lower dose, but that affected me more.
Okay.
So with somehow I just managed to complete it.
Good. So could you also share if a little bit more detail whether it is, did you also go for hormone therapy or anything, or was it not so?
Hormone therapy, right now I'm taking tablets for that because my hormones also were positive.
Oh.
So I'm taking tablet, that's it, that I need to take for a few more years. And I went through radiotherapy, that was some 25 cycles, 25 days.
So after your chemo?
Yeah. So that was the end of my treatment.
Was radiotherapy okay, or did that
okay? That didn't have any
no significant
no issues with that.
Okay. So you continue to have any follow-on checks or?
Yeah, every 3 months I go to Dr. Shekhar Patil. I get myself checked, and then he just tell me what is to be done. So.
Okay. So it's like it's going to be for some kind of a follow-up for some more time till you are.
Yeah.
Just as a precautionary measure, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So good. So I think any specific, like you said, it was a tough, almost a year. I think we should consider almost a year's period where you underwent this entire treatment process, and even post that, because I think post that life already changes, right? So any key support that you wanted, during that difficult period? I mean, I'm asking from the perspective of people who are undergoing a similar phase in their lives right now. Since you've already gone through it, what would you suggest are the key things that, as if you reflect back, that were very important for you?
First thing is that the family support, the support of the spouse, children or parents, the in-laws, very, very important to have family support, because if the family is not with you, it's very difficult to
go through this
stage, because you need to totally concentrate only on yourself and you have to ignore everything else. So everything else, if somebody else is managing for you, it's great. So I was very lucky in that aspect. So I had to just worry only about myself. Great. And nothing else. Everything else was managed.
Very nice.
And so that's the biggest thing. And of course, whatever the doctor says, that has to be followed accurately. And I think that's the most important thing. The support system, what you have. Rest all your body has to bear, and the doctors will do their job.
Okay.
But the support around you should be really strong, so that can help you come out of the situation.
Very nice.
You should not have any other stress. If we have any other stress apart from our own disease,
correct,
that adds to the, you can't come out of it.
Very nice.
It's like, okay, this thing I have to bear for 1 year. Okay, I'll bear it. I'll come out of it. Rest all thing is fine. So that situation is very, very important. I am scared about people who are getting sick now, like in this situation.
Oh yeah.
So bad it is.
Correct.
It's not the right time to get anything else.
Yeah, it's a tough situation actually now.
So luckily, everything was the circumstances were all fine when I was getting treated, so I could come out of it very easily. Even in my house and even around my house, everything was fine. So that's very important.
Any specific things you are doing now to manage your health? I'm
doing, I have to do exercises related to my arm, because as I told, I have lymphedema. So that I do the very morning, as soon as I wake up, I do that. Then I go for walks. Walking is compulsory. Doctor had told me, it's like, if you are not walking, don't come to me. That's how important it is. Like, you don't come to me if you're not walking daily half an hour. So I have made a compulsion that, okay, I have to walk anytime in the morning or evening, anytime.
Right.
And yoga I do as taught by Dr. Deepashri. And meditation and yoga, that whatever she taught me. And I eat a lot, like small quantities frequently. I eat a lot. And I make sure that it is very healthy. I eat very less sugary food. I avoid eating sugar. I was very fond of eating sweets, but now I try to avoid it. Drink a lot of water. Hydration is very, very important. Even though I drink 3 liters, around 3 liters, when for that doctor was like, no, it's not enough. It has to be 4 to 5 liters.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, because I have to overcome that effect of those medicines and whatever medicines I'm taking now. So the drinking water, fluids is very important. And I'm keeping myself busy. If I just sit quietly, then I start feeling some pain somewhere. So I just keep myself busy all the time with my kids or whatever hobbies I have. And I do a lot of dancing. Dancing keeps me, energized.
Oh, that is fantastic. Wow.
Whatever, I dance only for myself. So to make
absolutely. I think you have brought out, a very good point. I think keeping yourself engaged in the things you yourself like, I think keeps the mind positive and focused on the good things of life that you enjoy. Otherwise, I think it's very right that you start imagining. I mean, I don't know. I can't call it imagining, but even if it is small, you recall that bad experience, and I think it's absolutely unnecessary. That's a very great point you just shared. So I think, is there something new that you have started doing which you were not doing before?
I started learning a lot of languages. I'm reading, and I have realized one thing in this whole process, that life can end any time. So it's not like I do these things after some time or after a few years, or when my kids are married, or when I'm free and all that. No. It's like, if you want to do it now, otherwise it will not happen.
True.
So I've started giving importance to myself, my desires, I have a bucket list. So started fulfilling them. That's what I keep trying to do many things which I have not done before, and I want to do many more things, explore many more aspects, what I have not done before. And in fact, what I have not done before only I want to do in the future.
That is very good.
So it's like, no, this is the second chance. This is the second life. So let me not waste it. Already I've got this bonus years. So let me use it. Whatever I have not done, let me not think what others are thinking about me, and let me just go for whatever I like.
Yeah. So how would you say that this experience has transformed you as a person?
It has transformed me a lot. I mean, I have paid a heavy price for this transformation. So it has transformed me a lot. It's become, my attitude has changed. So I've stopped bothering. Before I used to be like, keeping everybody happy used to be my goal. Okay, if everybody is happy, I'm happy. So now my goal is, okay, if I'm happy, it's okay if others are happy or not happy. So I've become a little maybe selfish.
I think I should not call it selfish, but I think
selfish, but I don't know what word to use, but more concerned about myself and my feelings. Like, okay, if I am happy, everything is fine. I can make everything fine. I should be happy. I should be fine. So that has become a top priority for me now.
True.
And nobody should disturb my peace of mind. I don't allow anybody to disturb my peace.
That is a very big thumbs up. That's a very big thumbs up.
So, people, there are many people who in our lives, who do something to just, disturb our peace of mind, and we do get disturbed. So right now I make sure that nothing is permanent. So, I'm not letting anybody disturb my peace of mind. It's like my life I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be, whatever I have, I deserve all these. So nothing can disturb my peace of mind. So that's the goal I have made. So that's the change what I have made. Otherwise, I used to worry about every little thing, every little person. So I have stopped bothering. Now, even my kids now, I don't bother much. I was like, okay, you have your own lives, you will do well, I'm sure. So I'm not worrying too much now, because stress is the biggest enemy of our good health. Stress, physical stress, mental stress, it's the biggest enemy. So I'm trying to, not that I'm keeping it totally away, but I'm trying, like how I was before, when compared to now, I'm trying to keep it, avoid it, and just be happy for myself with whatever I have.
I think this is a big lesson to take. The one lesson, if I have to take, I think this will be this, what you just said. So finally, I will just come to you. Based on your experience and your journey, what would you recommend? Maybe some 3 or 4 points that you would like to share with fellow people and women who are maybe undergoing similar experience.
Number one that I would like to share is just believe in your inner strength, in your willpower. With that, I would just want to add a little few words for my mother. She was a cancer patient. When she was 60 years old, 18 years back. So 18 years back, she had got breast cancer. She had also uterus cancer in the uterus, and she was 60 years old at that time. So that time her responsibilities were over. So she was like, okay, I'm ready to face anything. Then I was like, I told her, no, you have to live. It's not like you can't give up. Then I don't know what made her, but she fought cancer so well. She had nobody to support. She didn't have any psychologist. She didn't have any like there was my mother and my father. They are staying. They both are staying. So they didn't have any other family members also with them. They didn't have any psychological support, or with just her own willpower, she just came out of the 1-year treatment and she lived. She lived for 18 years. And just 3 months back, she passed away, not because of cancer, but she had a cardiac arrest.
So, I'm very sorry to hear that.
So she is the biggest inspiration in my life. She is in fact the biggest inspiration in my life. She had nothing, but she came out of cancer so well that she'll always remain an inspiration. When I got cancer, she told me, see, at the age of 60, when I can come out of it, you are just, that time I was 36. So 36, you can come out very easily. I know what she must be feeling inside. You can't see your daughter going through the same what you have gone through. But still, she was very strong. She didn't show any sign on her face. And she was like, when I can go through this, when I can come out, so can you. So you can't lose your willpower. So be strong and just go through everything and come out as a winner. I was having confidence on her confidence, in fact. So that way, I want to suggest the cancer patients that believe in yourself, believe in your inner strength, and take one day at a time. Every day will be different. It won't be a same experience even for the next day also. Every day will be different. So take one day at a time. Okay, one day I will complete this day today. Tomorrow I will see what will happen. Then I will complete that tomorrow also. Then I'll complete day after tomorrow also. So take one day at a time, and the whole year or the treatment period will get. Don't make future plans. It will just take every day as it comes. Make small targets. That's the
short small targets which are easy to
easy to
achieve.
Do. Like, today I'm feeling so bad. How will I manage next week? It's not like that. Today I'm bad. Okay, I'll somehow get through today's day. Tomorrow will be a better day, or maybe worse. Tomorrow I'll get through the day. So just one day at a time would be better. And eating well is very important. Eating nutritious food, eating well, more of dry fruits little bit if it can be cooked little, and little quantity, but frequent quantities is very important. Even during the chemo, you don't feel like eating anything. But
correct.
As my mother used to say, keep eating. Even if you vomit it out, just eat. Eat little. Even if you can eat 1 or 2 spoons, it's enough. But you have to keep on eating. Even when you don't feel like eating, you don't get the taste, just gulp it. But it has to reach your stomach, only then you will overcome it.
Right.
So that was the thing, and eat well and no stress, and follow the doctor's advice and the therapists that they are telling. That's very, very important. Just go by them and believe them that they will treat you well. Believing them is very important. Whatever treatment you are going through, believing that treatment, believing the person who is treating you is very important.
Right.
Every time will be in a time. There will be many people who will advise you, or they will give you their opinions as I am giving, but it may not work same for everyone. It is all different.
True.
Just believe in your therapist, believe in your doctors. So that will help a lot in coming out. Okay, I have to cross this bridge, and it will be crossed.
Yes, that is true.
And coming back to normal life after treatment is very important. It's hard. It's like, sometimes you feel you won't be accepted, but we have to ignore everything and come back to normal life. If we don't consider ourselves normal, nobody else will consider.
True.
If we have that poor thing kind of feeling for us, so I'm such a poor thing, I'm such a bechara type of person, then even the others will feel the same thing. You are okay, I'm normal, I'm perfect, the others will also start feeling the same thing. So that's how I'm getting back to my normal routine.
That is fantastic. I think that is a very good. I think that's an amazing point of view and attitude to life. I think you have developed, and I'm sure that this is a very, very valuable lesson. I think life has strange ways to teach us and improve ourselves as a person. And I think the more I'm talking to other different cancer survivors, I see this one common trait, amongst all the people I've talked to, all of them. I mean, not even one exception, is that the perspective becomes totally new. I mean, it's a new perspective, the way to look at life, because I think that hardship that I mean, it's very, I don't think any other person who has not gone through it can understand it. I mean, I cannot understand. I mean, I'm hearing so many stories, but I know it takes a real life experience to really feel it, and that is one thing I've noted. I think it's common in every story.
It's a hard-earned life. It's hard-earned life.
It's hard-earned,
so I mean, waste it. It's like some people they meet an accident and they recover. So that's a different thing. Like the damage, what they go through is within seconds or within minutes, and they recover. But here the damage is like slowly the damage gets done. And slowly the recovery happens. So you see the damage also happening within months, and because the actual damage starts happening when the chemotherapy starts. Before that you don't feel, you're fine.
Yeah, correct.
So it's like you're damaging your own body and then you're recovering. So you see the damage and you see the recovery. So then you realize, okay, this is not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. Definitely it's not easy. And all kudos to you. I think you have come out of it, and I wish that you stay healthy for the rest of your life.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Okay, ma'am. So I think thank you very much for your time, and thank you for sharing your journey.